The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
You are listening to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with a sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Sports Network. Listen in as Brent and Dave invite you to belly up to the bar with them to talk about everything in the world of sports, just like you would do at your favorite watering hole. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans, so belly up to the bar with us, grab a beverage, and let's get into it.
The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 beer sports talk and a whole lot more. This segment is brought to you by Righteous Felon Jerky and RighteousFelonJerky.com. Use promo code Belly Up over at Righteous Felon Jerky to get the greatest jerky in the land in the great U.S. of A. Not available in Canada yet, but hopefully they get it there. Dave, you're heading down to the great state of Montana to get yourself some Righteous Felon Jerky delivered right to your door by getting 20% off at Belly Up.
It's going to be waiting for me. That Belly Up Pod promo code does work. So I got the sample pack. I'm going to get a little bit. I got 3 pounds of jerky coming my way because, fuck, of course, you got to spend $50 to get the free shipping and handling. So
that's what it is.
Well, it's what I did. So I'm going to figure it out. I looked on it. There's a lot of gluten-free products there, and so most of them.
Really?
Oh yeah, but when you have a celiac wife, you always look for gluten-free products, and there is gluten-free products there.
Well,
In fact, I would say 2/3 of them are gluten-free, and so I'm looking forward to. I got the jerky mix pack, and I got the meat stick mix pack, so. I got 3 pounds of jerky that shall be at my door when we arrive there tomorrow afternoon.
From Righteous Felon.
From Righteous Felon, yes.
Promo code
Looking forward.
Use promo code Belly Up and get your 20% or 15% off. Sorry, Dave. It's been coming for a long time, and we talked about in the past that print media is pretty much just a thing of the past. And you sent me a thing from, I can't remember what it was, but Sports Illustrated laid off pretty much everybody this week. They said, that's it. We're done. That's it. No more. That's it. And see you later. That is the end of an era, generation, all of it. Sports Illustrated used to be 100% like when I was a young kid. Go to the Mac store in Fort McLeod, you get Sports Illustrated. It was like $1.50, right? And you'd buy Sports Illustrated. That's where I first kind of got into it. Yeah, you'd watch on TV, but like a real sports guy would read Sports Illustrated. And yeah, you wouldn't read the Muhammad Ali thing or the race car thing. So it was all in there. But Sports Illustrated was absolutely the reason why I know my sports knowledge, and it's too bad that basically it's done now. It's done.
It's a thing. It's
end of an era.
It's 100% the end of an era because, as a kid, I read that thing cover to cover. That's what I have Sports Illustrated. I got it for renewing my subscription when I was, I want to say 14 or 15. It was always in my name at my house. I asked for presents. Like it would be my birthday present, a subscription. And then like you'd renew and you'd get the Football Follies. I'm sure I have that VHS tape someplace.
Oh, I remember those.
By Steve Sable and whatever. And as I say it, I can see some of the clips in it right now. It was my window into all sports. Yeah, and like you say, like there were certain articles I read first or last, but by the end of the week, I read that entire fucking thing, whether it was about horse racing or Indy 500 or whatever. By the end of that week, I was done, and I couldn't wait. Faces in the crowd, Rick Riley on the back page. Yeah. And then like it was like Brent Rudlisky, Fort McLeod, Alberta, goalie, 3 shutouts, 4 point, like whatever.
9.73 goals against average, no shutouts, whatever. No, that was one thing about Sports Illustrated, and because you're young and stupid, right? Like you don't know anything, and that was one thing about facing the crowd. I always, especially when I was like 12, 11 years old, I was like, okay, so am I going to be the face of the crowd this week? Is this going to be my week to face the crowd? 'Cause I didn't know how it worked.
Well,
Like,
neither did I, but like you know,
I didn't. So you're
you
always
know,
hoping because whatever menial little sports thing you did, whatever menial athletic endeavor that you accomplished, you thought, you know, that was pretty cool. I went fucking 9 for 10 little league field across the street from my parents' house, and I even facing the crowd because I didn't know how it worked. Right?
That's right. Yeah. You know, but you know that, and that's the thing that you know that like as a kid to myself, like you know that you can aspire to because these were faces in the crowd. They were as a general rule like 21 like sophomores, juniors at some unheard of college, right?
Yeah.
Like not on
Guacamole State.
Guacamole State, right? You know, and you know that's something you could aspire to as a 14-year-old. Is just a face in the crowd, right? It's like a personal ad with 3 lines free or whatever it is, and then like that was a thing in Sports Illustrated that like you know that might happen to me someday. I might be a face in the crowd, like
Guacamole State.
Guacamole State, as opposed to being a cover athlete, as opposed to being obviously the athlete of the year. Like I never was so deluded. Uh, uh, that I thought that was going to be me on the cover of Sports Illustrated one day.
But I always
But it
had the
was
hopes of being the face in the crowd.
facing
I
the
did.
crowd. Yeah, because you know that was somewhat attainable. That was somewhat attainable.
Yeah. No, it's
Like you know, in the back of the thing, let alone being Chris Drury as a 12-year-old being a co-sportsman of the year type thing.
yeah, win yourself a Little League World Series, the Stanley Cup, and on it goes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, but Sports Illustrated, it's a thing. And it saddens me so much because it's kind of like you know, it's an institution that didn't capitalize on the monopoly they had, and then just technology passed them by, and they couldn't figure it out, and now they're gone. And to say Sports Illustrated is gone, and I'm as guilty as the next person because I get all my information now from the online subscriptions and that kind of thing, and I don't pay for Sports Illustrated anymore.
When I was,
And
yeah, it was not sorry to interrupt, but when I was going up to Calgary on last Sunday there, out to get gas in Claresholm there, and there was no magazine stand. Like it's gone.
it's gone.
It's gone. And like when you go to the airport, the whatever those stores are, there's no magazine stands anymore. They're gone. And I was one like no matter where I was traveling throughout North America, every time I jumped in an airplane, I would grab a Sports Illustrated, and like you said, I would read it from cover to cover, even things I didn't care about. I would read
Yeah,
cover,
yeah,
but
yeah.
every
Not
single time.
yeah. And I read some articles first and then last, and I bounce back and forth. But yeah, I read it all the time, and people of our generation will understand like how important Sports
It was.
Illustrated was to our sports knowledge and our love of sports because it was we talk about it like you know back in the day the only time you knew how someone did on your favorite baseball team or hockey team is when you saw the standings, the box score the next day, and then even being where we were, any game that happened on the West Coast,
you wouldn't know what the score was till 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
right? Well, unless you stayed up till 9 o'clock. Well, yeah, 9, 11 o'clock,
No,
and
when I,
then
when, in
and then
Fort,
some
like when I
games, yeah,
like in Fort McLeod, where I grew up, the newspaper would come across after school.
yeah,
So at 4 o'clock when I got home, or 3:30, whatever, 4 o'clock, you go to the box score and see what the scores were. There were games that happened in New York City that weren't on TV because I was in bed by fucking 9 o'clock or whatever it was. And I would, I would, I would wake up next morning, watch fucking Mr. Dress Up, whatever the fuck it was, and then go to school and not know what the score was until 4 o'clock the next day when I checked the box score.
Right, because no one knew at school either. Right? It's not
No,
like it was.
this is, and that's what it was.
Yeah,
Well, and I'm glad we brought this up, Dave. I think that's why we have a lot more like guys our vintage are a lot more into sports, into other sports and other things because we had to look it up and we wanted to look it up.
and
Like
it was just like here's your
we wanted to see it.
well, yeah,
Right.
and like and here's your sports. Like here's Sports Illustrated on your on for me. I believe it was Tuesdays.
Yeah.
That it would come, and then like some occasionally it would wait till Wednesday, and it's like, ah, fuck, I gotta wait a fucking day with it, and you're pissed off and what have you. But then when you got it, you read it, you read the whole fucking thing, and then
Cover to cover.
yep, and NBA and hockey and baseball, there would be. And like I said, horse racing, sometimes auto racing, sometimes you'd read about fucking cricket, for fuck's sake, it became it made you more of a sports fan, right? Not just a single sport, not
And
just a
the
single
pictures.
person.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like those were like for me, like we're watching Poetic here. We're getting old and we're getting old. But you watch Poetic about like those were faraway lands, right? Like being from Lethbridge like you were, and I'm from Fort McLeod like I was. Like I never thought I would see Wrigley Field. Like the and when you go there later in life, you see those pictures that were exactly the same thing
hmm
that were in Sports Illustrated. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that when I was a kid. No, it's too bad that it just doesn't have that anymore. And holding and yeah, and people are gonna say, yeah, well, it's on you can watch the app or the phone. It's not the same. It's not the same. The pictures aren't the same. Having something in your hand and reaching over across because holding a phone and going, you see this? It ain't the same, man. It ain't
yeah.
the
I'll
same.
share this picture with you. Yeah,
It,
and
it ain't
and
it
even
ain't the
myself,
same as holding a magazine in your hand.
right? And even myself, like I would with magazines and what have you, and Rolling Stone was another magazine I read all the time. I would cut pictures out and just put them on my wall, right? I would put them on my wall, and that's nothing like my son does. Jasper doesn't have that, right? Like it's
Odd, different.
it's so different. Like so he has pictures of anything he wants at on demand right there. But when I was in my bedroom, I was looking at pictures that I cut out of Sports Illustrated,
Farrah
and
Fawcett.
yeah, well, I didn't have for faucet.
We
One
came
of my
a very highly Christian family, so yeah.
there was a picture of Meg Ryan, just like a face picture, like she was an ultimate crush of mine back in the day. Like I had her, I had Michael Jordan pictures, I had Dwight Gooden, I had fucking Daryl Strawberry, I had John Elway, like, but they were all from fucking Sports Illustrated. If it was a cool picture, I cut it out and just put it on my wall. I just put it on my wall, and that's different now. Like I don't know what like I don't know. Like I only have one kid, and he doesn't have shit on his wall. Like he has some baseball decorations and little things and stuff, but he doesn't have shit out of magazines like I did.
Like now that we're talking about this, like I look back a little bit and you go, I I I kind of like just kind of may sound ridiculous. Well, everything we do is ridiculous here at the 1420
It's pretty
podcast.
ridiculous. Yeah,
But
premise.
like I remember reading Sports Illustrated as a kid in grade 8, grade 9, whatever, Fort McLeod. And I'd be saying things to people about what I was interested in. And they were like, I don't care, man. Like, you're a fucking idiot. Who cares? I was like, no, this is cool. Like, no, it's good. Like, it's fine. Sports Illustrated was a thing. Like it was great, and people who got it. And it's too bad that Jasper doesn't get the chance to do that.
Yeah, it's just different, right? Because like I mentioned before, like he knows his favorite baseball players, he knows their stats, he knows everything about them, where they were, where they're signed from. But like he has, it's not that's his thing now, like because he follows baseball. He's not
Yeah.
beholden to a single publication that comes once a week and you read it cover to cover and like whatever they're going to talk about is what they're going to talk about and you read it and you love it.
But we didn't have a choice back then. What like?
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah, like that's
you had to catch up on. Okay, well, I'll flip the Lethbridge Herald and find something, right?
right.
It's no, I miss old print media. I really do.
Same. Like
It's not like
100%.
you send me things on Deadspin all the time and everything else, but I miss print media. Like you put it in your hand, you read it and everything else, and it's just not the same. It's really not the same. It's
Just having a magazine, having a book in your hand, right? You know, the only time I put a book in my hand anymore is when when I'm on vacation, and I love it, and I like fuck, I got to do this when I get home, but I don't.
you don't.
I just like as I'm flipping through my Twitter feed, I'll save articles, and then when I have time at night, I'll read the articles at night. But like that's how I do it now. Like it's what it is. Like, and I'm part of the problem. Like, and I guess my
Oh,
point is like like
I miss
like kind of being like just two old farts. I remember I didn't walk uphill and barefoot in snow to
no, but
school every
but
day.
we're
But
not 90,
yeah,
right?
but like as people that weren't wired in and actually were looking forward to a magazine, like a fucking magazine. It was awesome. It was Sports Illustrated. I'm gonna miss it, and like we haven't even touched upon the the swimsuit issue. Like holy cow, that was Playboy for before you could buy Playboy, right? Like it
That
was
was
like
one your mom would say, oh, "Okay, you can have that one downstairs."
yeah, like and then don't let me find it underneath your mattress or whatever. You got to read this one in front of me,
Yeah.
kind of thing. You're like yeah, like who was your favorite Playboy? Playboy. Who was your favorite Sports Illustrated cover girl?
Oh, fuck. What the fuck was her name?
Elle
I,
McPherson, the
no,
bod.
I actually had a bit of a thing for Tyra Banks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I thought she's hot.
oh no, they're all handsome women, but Elle McPherson, it was like holy cow,
I think
60s.
because I think not to go back on our last segment, but I like Tyra Banks. She had some very fulfilling lungs.
there's not one Sports Illustrated swimsuit model that wasn't full of hands. They like their models full of hands.
Didn't Christy Brinkley? She was in one of those, wasn't she?
Christy Brinkley was on him.
Yeah.
Cindy Crawford was in
Christy
him.
Brinkley she's
Up-
hot.
She's an uptown girl.
Living in an uptown world. Yeah, don't get around that. You wonder, like fuck when, like that's what we were. I seen Billy Joel a couple of times at the Garden there in New York City, and he's a lot less handsome than me and you, more talented, obviously,
Yes.
but you wonder how he, like when you're a musician, like you, like, that's it, man. Like athletes are one thing, musicians are another. Like Billy Joel has no business being associated with Christy Brinkley.
Physically. Yes.
If Billy Joel was a plumber, there's no way.
No.
Or a pipe fitter or a mover or whatever.
Yeah.
No
Unless
way.
no, exactly. Like unless even if he was the best one in the world, right?
Still no. Yeah. But he can
Still
sing.
no. But you can sing, and like I'm with the band, right? Like the chicks dig the guys in the band. And yeah, she was just it's to bring it back to Sports Illustrated. I'm so sad. Like it's like
It's sad.
hearing it's like hearing one of your sports heroes dying. Honestly, like that's
sad.
how sad I was. Like it was like, oh fuck, it's gone. It's gone. I thought they'd be there forever because it was forever. Like they were there. Sports Illustrated was around before I came around.
And another thing is, Dave, like you mentioned how sad it is. Like when guys in the last 5 or 6 years, when they were becoming, when they got signed on to be writers for Sports Illustrated, and they're like, "Oh, I made it. I made it," and they were struggling and trying to keep alive, whether it be online or whether it be print, whatever it might be. And for the guys that were, or the guys and girls who were at the end of it, they're like, I thought I made it, and now it's gone. That it's shitty. It's shitty.
It is. It's
And
just
people will never know how great like Jasper right now, is when I got in Sports Illustrated and when I got my love of sports because of Sports Illustrated.
pretty much.
Like because
You're
of
right.
Sports Illustrated. And because of like sports 11:30 and whatever it was, like that age group is like 13, 17 when I finally like I there's other things other than hockey and baseball, right? There's other stuff and and it's weird. And Jasper will never. I mean, yeah, you have Deadspin, you have Barstool, but it's different.
It's totally different, right?
It's not,
because you know what?
It's not. It's because those things are clickbait.
Right. Because you know what? There's going to be another one coming down the pipe in
Tomorrow.
in
2 hours.
Yeah, tomorrow or two. Exactly. Whereas this is all you have, aside from the paper and the
a week
local,
and a half.
right, and the local news, right, which would show like the 10 seconds of flame highlights and
the
then
Lethbridge Herald would never talk about the USC Trojans
ever. Right.
So
you would get college football.
So
you're right.
So you read Sports Illustrated, and then you tuned into CBS, and there it is.
If you could, right?
Sports
Because
Illustrated grew sports for the common person that local media couldn't do.
Right. And and like on a Saturday afternoon, there ain't no fucking way.
It makes me more sad, actually.
There's no fucking way my dad was gonna let me sit down and watch college sports, like college football, because you know what? I didn't realize it unless I had read about them in Sports Illustrated. That would be the teams I'd want to watch. Oh no, I just read about these guys. I want to watch, and he'd say, "Get your fucking ass outside and mow the lawn," because that was a Saturday thing. Like you got your chores, and so it's a look into how I became a fan of sports, and
100%.
And that was the only thing that I had to get me into college football in the States, to get me into the NFL, to get me into whatever, right? Because I didn't, and then even then when I was, 14 to 17, 18, when I was with my folks, right, on Sunday afternoons, we had more than one TV, so I could go down and watch, like on the second TV. I could go and watch some NFL. Right, and I couldn't definitely watch the game I wanted to watch because I had to watch a fucking Seahawk game because we had the Spokane feed. Right, there was no such thing as watching. You watched the game because I think we only had 6-7 channels with cable at that time. You had to watch whatever game was on at 11, and then whatever Seattle was is the game you had to watch, whether it was the morning or afternoon slot. I mean, you just hope for a good one, and then Monday Night Football was always a good matchup.
Like we talked about this a few times, but I don't think kids know the struggle, right? Not the struggle, but what it was to become a fan or to watch sports.
There's no such thing as a struggle anymore, right?
Even here in Canada, the Jays were on Friday, Saturday, and Saturday, Sunday, and that was it on CBC or on CTV.
CTV, yeah.
Right. There was a couple games that the Expos were never on
until
never.
TSN came along. Yeah, or you could
Until-
watch them on French on CBC. Yeah.
until TSN came along, and then
Yeah.
and then with we in Fort McLeod we had ABC, NBC was 4, 5, and 6, and you would watch and you would get the NBC game of the week, and that was it. You didn't get games on, so you had to go to print media.
Yes.
You had to.
Yeah. If you wanted to consume some
If you were a
sports
person,
knowledge,
you had to go to print media and figure it out.
yeah,
Like,
which was Sports
you,
Illustrated.
you weren't watching 10 games a week or 5 games a week.
It wasn't even available. If you had,
It wasn't available.
it just simply wasn't available. Right? Like there was just
That
no
is
way.
crazy.
You know,
But
like
now that we say we're talking about, it's crazy to think about it that way. Like we had to find it because we wanted to.
because Calgary Flames, when so Calgary didn't have a team until I was, I think, around 12 years old, is when Atlanta moved.
81, I think they came 82. Sorry, 82.
Yeah, so yeah, that's when I was 12. Excuse me, and they were their home games were on channel 2 and 7, right?
That's it.
Like on a fucking local TV network.
And Thursday
With-
games.
Yeah, with
every game was on.
I think it was every home game, but I don't know because I was never a Flames fan.
Whalen was busy fucking broadcasting Stampede Wrestling. So
Yeah, Ed Whalen. In between time, what is it?
In the meantime, and in between
and in
time.
between
That's it.
time,
Another edition of
another-
Stampede Wrestling.
Yeah. Ed Whalen
I-
was a legend, but
I never-
nonetheless.
I don't think about we didn't. You had to search shit out.
You watched it or you didn't. And that's it, because it was not like we didn't even have VCRs at the time.
No.
Like not everybody had a fucking VCR. And recording a game at that point, oh fuck. Like when that Steve Smith goal was, I want to say, was that 86 or 87?
86.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, I think we had a VCR. No, yeah, we for sure had a VCR at that time. But I watched it live, right? Like you were watching sports live all the time. And now you have to watch sports live because everybody's like in today's day and age, because otherwise you have to just total shut off social media. Like when I'm missing games, but I'm gonna watch it and I don't want to watch the score, it's a little bit of a struggle for me because I can't turn on the fucking Twitter machine for 4 hours.
It's
because I want to watch the game.
We'll call her half a second here, but me and Deanne laugh a lot. Like her dad and her brother are big Leafs guys. Obviously, they want the Leafs to win Stanley Cup, and they're not going to ever. But they hate commercials, right? They hate commercials, and which I don't care. It's a commercial. So they purposely start watching the game after the first period is done. But they tape it. They PVR, right? If the Leafs ever win a cup, they will miss the Leafs actually winning a cup because they hate commercials that much. You know how stupid that is?
I understand the logic, and I actually tip my hat to it because I'm the same way as far as game.
But if it came to game day, you want to see it live.
Oh yeah, like playoffs, I'm watching live.
These two fuckers, they're gonna not watch commercials. They're that stubborn.
No, not I. If it's for all the marbles, I'm watching every fucking second.
There'll be a parade going down Yonge Street in Toronto, and they'll be still in the second period.
I'll pause it during the first so I can take a piss, grab a snack, whatever. But honestly, halfway through the third quarter, I'm watching everything. Yeah.
Mike boys, they do little things a little bit differently. Yeah.
Well, and they and Bears fans and Leafs fans, so I don't know how old Dee's brother was when the Bears won with Refrigerator Perry there, but
wasn't.
He wasn't even on the planet yet, but okay.
Deanne was 3.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah.
Because that was 86.
Yeah, she was born in 82, so he was 4, and
Okay.
James wasn't.
Okay. Well, let your kin know the goddess's kin know that I actually did watch Chicago win a Super Bowl, and
Crazy.
so
You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.